Time is now 7:30 p.m. Hold on one second. My TV is making a background sound. All right, I'm sorry for the interruption. My TV was too loud. It was feeding back. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Old Bridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for December 16th, 2021. I'm James Sullivan. As chairman of the board, I would ask you now to join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag
to the flag
of the United
of the
States,
United States of America,
and to the
and to the
republic
republic
which
for which it stands,
one
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
and
justice.
justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Old Bridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting by primarily posting in the municipal complex an announcement giving the time, the date, the location, and the agenda of this meeting. Also by mailing such announcement to the Home News and Tribune. Also by filing a copy of such announcement with the municipal clerk. And finally by posting the agenda on the Old Bridge Township website. Can we have a roll call, Ms. C?
Sure. The zoning board members will be unmuted during the first half of the meeting when they will be required to vote on other agenda items. The zoning board attorney, the zoning board chairman, the zoning board secretary, and the court reporter will remain unmuted throughout the meeting. Everyone else will be muted. Once the presentation for the application begins, the applicant's professionals will be asked to turn on their video and unmute themselves in the order in which they will testify. For the public, I will announce the last 4 digits of the caller's phone number to come forward and announce their name and address. I will also announce the last 4 digits of the next caller's phone number so that they will be prepared. We will share our screen to display any exhibits. The meeting information will be displayed on the screen multiple times during the meeting so that any resident who wishes to call and join the meeting can do so. Please be patient. You will have an opportunity to speak. Thank you. Mr. Dewhurst. Mr. Connor.
Here.
Ms. Kilduff.
Here.
Mr. Scogno.
Here.
Mr. Stoner.
Here.
Ms. Chevalier. Chairman Sullivan.
Here.
Mr. Psychowski.
Here.
Ms. Andrews.
Here.
Mr. Sachs.
Here.
Ms. DeWant.
Here.
Mr. Gill.
Here.
And myself. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This meeting is being conducted electronically via the internet by a webinar. It's unique and it takes patience on all involved because at present we're still not back gathering in the courtroom, but we're doing this from our own homes or own home offices. This meeting is simultaneously being televised by OBTV channel 15 as well as YouTube Live. I remind those watching on your TV that there's up to a 30-second delay in communication. I just was a victim of that because I forgot to turn mine down. This will be important to remember if you wish to personally join the public portion. Anyone calling in must lower their device, otherwise you'll be confused by the time delay. I ask all participants to please silence their phones at this juncture to avoid any disturbances. The meeting will follow the same protocols as always. We have some general housekeeping issues to start the meeting. They'll be followed by one application this evening. There'll probably be no need for to take a break this evening, so we'll continue straight forward until we finish the business. All applications are, of course, followed by a public portion following the testimony. If you have particular interest in the application that we'll be hearing this evening and you wish to ask any questions via telephone, I suggest you take notes during the presentation and it'll refresh your memory when you speak to us live on the phone. Now's a good time to either access some note paper and a pen or a pencil. Ms. C has already told you and board members about any information that I may have missed. We're going to move right on with the agenda in that case, and we'll go to item number 2 on our present agenda, and that's minutes for the meeting October 21-20. I have the wrong one in front of me. Hold on. That would be the minutes of December 2nd, 2021. I hope everyone has had a chance to review them. Absent any comments or suggestions for additions, deletions, I'd like someone to move them for adoption.
Connor, motion to move?
Is there a second?
Second, Kilduff.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Mr. Psychowski,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews,
yes,
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, thank you. Item 4 is resolutions. We have 3 of them. We'll take them as they are written on the agenda. 31-2021Z, Lisa Real, Lot 43.11. Mr. Sachs.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This first resolution is application 31-2021Z, Lisa Reale, property located block 13, lot 4311, 43 Sunset Avenue. It was an application that was heard on August 5th, 2021 and October 7th, 2021. Property located in the R5 residential zone. The subject property is located at 43 Sunset Avenue. The site is comprised of a single tract of land containing 3,750 square feet located within the R5 zone. The applicant has built a 2-story single-family dwelling unit with a building footprint of 939 square feet and a total area of 1,878 square feet. The permitted FAR in that zone is 0.40. They're proposing 0.50. And there were several pre-existing nonconformity bulk variances for minimum lot area, minimum side yard, which were actually approved under the prior application before the planning board. There was testimony from Mr. Robert Casper, job foreman of the applicant, and Mr. Justin Orsiello. And the board granted this particular application, but the condition that was applied to this, and it was granted as a D4 floor area ratio variance, is the applicant agreed to provide as-built plans for the decks, and in the event said as-built plans indicate any setback violations, the applicant will reconfigure the deck to conform to the satisfaction of the professional staff. So again, this was voted on October 7th, and the resolution is in front of you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Board members, you've heard the resolution. Someone want to memorialize that?
I'll
move it.
move.
Is there a second?
A second, Stoner.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Mr. Psychowski,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews,
Roseanne, you're muted.
yes,
Thank you.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. The next one is 32-2021Z, Elisa Real, lot 4312, and you're not hearing things at home double, but these are 2 separate actions. Mr. Sachs.
Yes, and actually, rather than belabor the point, I won't even go through the same rigmarole that I normally do on the resolution. To suffice it to say, this is for block 13, lot 4312, property located at 45 Sunset Avenue. The same testimony was adduced with respect to that application, since that house was a mirror image of the property located at 43 Sunset Avenue. Again, this was heard on August 5th and October 7th, and he granted the D4 floor area ratio variance. Again, the only condition, the applicant agreed to provide as-built plans for the decks, and in the event said as-built plans indicates any setback violations, the applicant will reconfigure the deck to conform to the satisfaction of the professional staff.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. As the board may remember, these were mirror image homes on 2 adjoining lots. I'd ask someone if they're in favor of moving this for adoption.
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
I'll
second.
second.
Mr. Scogno seconds. Mr. Stoner was the first. Roll call, please.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Mr. Psychowski,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews,
yes,
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. And for the third and probably last time this year, Mr. Sachs, 34-2021Z, Calvary Chapel, Old
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is application of Calvary Chapel Church of Old Bridge, application 34-2021Z. It was an application for major preliminary and final site plan with D1, C variances and design waiver approval. Property located block 9,000, lots 11 and 12.15. Properties at 123 White Oak Lane. Hearing was held on November 4th of 2021. The applicant and the property is located in several zones. The CC Community Commercial Zone, the R120 Residential Zone, and the SD1 Special Development Zone. The applicant proposes to expand the existing parking area on the church property by constructing a parking lot on lot 11. The applicant proposes to construct 107 parking spaces within the new parking lot to serve the church and upgrade the existing church handicap spaces to comply with ADA standards. Lot 11 straddles two zones, the R120 and CC, while lot 12.15 lies fully within the SD1. The proposed parking area lies within a portion of the property that is situated in the R120. There were no bulk. Actually, there were bulk variances required. I'm sorry. And that would be for parking spaces for house of worship. And there was a waiver for the stall width and stall depth. There were also waivers for various landscaping elements in the parking field as well. It also required a D1 use variance hold on one second, let me just get to that. As the parking field is not permitted in that zone. There was testimony from Mr. Bhaskar Halari, professional engineer, Mr. Jay Troutman, Mr. James Higgins, professional planner, and the conditions of approval. The applicant agreed that a tree plan shall be submitted for the review and approval by Mr. Lovallo, Township Forester. So again, we voted on the D1 variances, the C and design waivers, and the preliminary and final. And this is the resolution in front of you this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Board members, you heard the resolution. Will someone move it for memorialization?
I'll move it.
Mr. Stoner, is there a second?
Second, Scogno.
Second, Scogno. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cotter,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes, sorry.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Mr. Psychowski,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews,
yes,
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
And
Mr. Sachs,
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to ask that
ahead.
Natalie hold off on having this resolution signed, only because I realized for some reason I don't have the language on the D1 variance on here. So I just want to add that on at the end of paragraph 3.
It was perfectly permissible for us to vote on it, correct?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just going to indicate that it required a D1. For some reason, it didn't come out on the copy I sent. So
Thank you for catching that and composing all the many that you've handled this year.
thank you.
Move on to next year. Board members, we do have one application.
Chairman?
Yes, Ms. Sawant.
I'm sorry to interject. Before we start the application, Natalie, please hold off from releasing the Lisa Real resolutions as well, because they're deficient. One of them is deficient on escrow. So please hold off from releasing those. I will talk to Larry before we resolve the matter and release it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Sawant. The only application, board members, that we have for the evening is 49-2021Z. It's Morris Habitat for Humanity. It's in the R5 zone. It's block 40, lot 308, located at 308 Norwood Avenue for a C variance. I believe it's a setback issue. Steve Goen is representing the applicant. Is Mr. Goen here?
I did see him.
I see him on the bottom. I see on the bottom of my screen. Steve, if you could unmute and sign on.
I'm actually going to be presenting.
Oh, okay.
Yes, hi. Kristen Lyons, also from the law firm Giordano, Halloran, and Cieslaw, on behalf of the applicant. As the chairman said, we are looking for C variance relief for a side yard setback of 8.7 feet where 9 feet is permitted. And the property, the house on the property is slightly skewed. So it's in the northern portion of the property that we're looking for this side yard setback variance. The applicant previously received approval of its zoning application for the property on September 3rd, 2021. Then they moved on to building the house, which is currently under construction. During the building permit process, they had a foundation location survey done, and that's what revealed that the house is 0.3 feet over the permitted side yard setback. I just wanted to confirm that notice is good to go under the MLUL as per the board secretary.
Yes, I'll indicate that, Ms. Lyons. Yes, we do have proper notice, and we can accept jurisdiction for this application this evening.
Great, thank you. All right, then I'm going to move on and ask that Thomas Fick of the firm Carroll Engineering, who is the applicant's engineer, be brought on to testify.
By all means.
Mr. Fick, please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. I can't see you, but I'm assuming you're raising your right hand. You swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, please state your name, spelling your last name, and professional affiliation for the record.
Sure. My name is Thomas Fick, last name spelled F as in Frank, I-K. I am employed by Carroll Engineering in Hillsborough, New Jersey. I'm a professional engineer, licensed in New Jersey as well as Pennsylvania. And I've testified over numerous zoning and planning boards throughout the state of New Jersey.
Thank you, Mr. Fick. We'll accept your credentials.
Great, thank you. So just going to give you a brief summary of the property and the situation. The subject property is located at the corner of Norwood Avenue and Woodland Avenue. It's also known as Block 40, Lot 308, and it lies within the R5 zone. The address of the property is 308 Norwood Avenue. So our office prepared a plot plan for a single-story affordable frame dwelling. And after demolition of the vacant existing house, Morris Habitat began constructing the foundation of the new home. Our firm was then asked to as-built the foundation, and we determined that the corner of the foundation closest to Norwood Avenue was constructed 0.3 feet, which is approximately 3.5 inches over the side yard setback. We checked that dimension twice and confirmed that the existing foundation is over the side yard setback. Required side yard setback for the R5 zone is 9 feet. So the existing foundation wall is 8.7 feet to the property line in common with lot 306. The other corners of the foundation do not violate the site setback requirements. As the applicant's attorney said, it is slightly skewed to that one corner. So that's the only corner that is not in compliance. So demolition and reconstruction of the existing foundation would result in a hardship to the applicant. So therefore, the applicant is here tonight to request a bulk variance from the minimum side yard setback requirement from the board. And should the board approve the variance this evening, the foundation will remain in place and then be backfilled as soon as possible and continue construction of the dwelling.
Ms. Lyons?
All right, thank you, Mr. Fick. We also have the applicant's architect on the line if the board feels that they need more testimony on this matter. If not, though, we don't have to bring her on.
That's okay. I thought you may have some questions of him. If you do not, I'm going to ask our professionals to comment or question Mr. Fick.
Sure.
Ms. Sawan?
I don't have any further questions. I think Mr. Gill has more information.
That's what I thought, probably Damien. Mr. Gill, go ahead.
Good evening, Chairman. Thank you. Good evening, members of the board. Well, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward situation. There's really not much to add. I think Ms. Lyons and Mr. Fick addressed the matter pretty concisely. The applicant received partial approval to begin construction of the single-family home. Their intention was to construct a home that was without variance, or it was variance-free, and it was an otherwise conforming application, and that approval was granted. It was subsequent to the foundation location, which is customary on a new construction, after the foundation is put in place, to ensure that it was placed properly before the expense of framing out the home and completing that construction is done. It was at that point that we noticed this deficiency. It's fairly de minimis, and there's really, the only thing that I see in this matter is weighing the 3.5 or so inches against, I guess, pulling out the foundation and redoing it. And I don't know that that makes sense, but that's for the board to decide. Mr. Fick, is that correct? Is there no other way to get this to comply? You'd have to redo it, because this is a modular foundation. This is a modular foundation.
I'm not exactly sure what type of foundation it is. We do have someone from Habitat here to describe in more detail, but our discussions were that the only option would be to remove the foundation and rebuild it, which obviously would be a significant financial hardship for Habitat.
Ms. Lyons, if we could confirm, I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm pretty sure this is a modular foundation. So it's not like they can remove some block. They would really have to take apart almost the entire side of the foundation and basically redo it. And
Yes.
that's all I wanted to point out for the boards, just so that they understand what we're talking about here.
From my discussions with the applicant and with representatives from Morris Habitat, I do believe this is a modular foundation.
Okay.
Mr. Gill, would the average person even notice this?
I don't think the technical person would notice it unless they're out with Mr. Fick's measuring tools to determine it.
Thank you. Anything else, Mr. Gill?
That'll be all, Chairman.
Ms. Lyons, back to you.
Okay, well, I believe that concludes our presentation. If any members of the board have any questions for Mr. Fick or myself, we would be happy to answer them.
Okay, that's what I'm going to do next. The board members, do we have any questions of Mr. Fick? I can only see Damien and some of the professionals, so I can't see your hand. You're going to have to speak up here. None? Okay. Mr. Sachs, do you have any questions?
No, I do not, Mr. Chairman. I would probably concur with Mr. Gill that I think this is really a de minimis variance. I think it would be a hardship for the applicant to remove this foundation for a 3.5-inch deviation, which I agree would not be perceptible to anybody. So,
you know what? I'm looking at the number and I say I think we've granted larger, but I can't remember granting smaller.
we certainly have. We've certainly
Let's find
granted
out.
larger.
Maybe the public might want to weigh in on this. So, if it's okay with you, Ms. Lyons, I'm going to go to the public portion.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. This is matter 49-2021Z, located at 308 Norwood Avenue. This is for de minimis setback issue of 3/10 or about 3.5 inches. Anyone in the public wish to be heard in this matter, which is at 308 Norwood Avenue? Please call one of the phone numbers that are on the screen in front of you. Do we have anybody in queue at the present, Ms. C?
No, I do not see any raised hands.
Okay, let's just wait about 30 seconds. Once again, members of the public, if you want to weigh in on this, or you have a question on this, or you want a comment for the board, please call one of the phone numbers that you see there. We'll take your call live and hopefully answer your question or listen to your comments. I think probably everyone's out shopping at this time of the year, so I'm supposing we're not going to get a lot. Ms. C, do you have anybody else in queue?
No, I don't see any raised hands.
Mr. Sachs, your comments?
Mr. Chairman, I'm fine. You can close that public portion. I think
Okay.
we've devoted enough time for.
Yeah, thank you very much. The public portion on this matter is now closed. Any final comments, Ms. Lyons?
Nope, I believe that's it. Like everyone said, it's a pretty de minimis variance request, so we hope that it's been a pretty quick, painless process for everyone tonight.
And I would agree with you wholeheartedly. As I said, we've given far more, but I don't know that we've ever given far less. So board members absent that, would someone be in favor of moving the side yard setback on this for approximately 3/10 of an inch off?
I'll move it, Scogno.
Is there a second?
Second Stoner.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Mr. Psychowski,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews,
yes,
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a resolution.
Okay, great, Mr. Sachs. Go ahead.
Thank you. This is application 49-2021Z, property located block 40, lot 308 Norwood Avenue. It's a request to permit construction of a new single-family dwelling, which requires a variance for a minimum side yard setback violation of 0.3 feet in the northwest corner of the site. Application was heard on December 16th of 2021. The board has made the following findings of fact: that the granting of the variance will not adversely affect the value of adjacent and nearby properties. The granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of their neighborhood. The granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare, and that the granting of the variance will be without substantial detriment to the public good and without substantial impairment of the intent and purpose of the zoning plan and zoning ordinance. The only special condition of approval: construction to be completed within 1 year of the issuance of the building permit. And that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Board members, someone want to move the resolution, please?
Connor, motion to move?
I'll
Is there a
second. I'll second. Stoner.
Mr. Stoner, roll call, please.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno.
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Mr. Psychowski,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews,
yes,
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Ms. Lyons, thank you for your appearance tonight and your profession.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
All right, have a happy holidays.
You as well.
I have item 6 on here, general public comments. If there's anybody in the audience at the present would like to call in, if you have any comments, we'll entertain them. This is the last meeting of the zoning board for 2021. We'll reconvene again in January. But if anyone wishes to call in, please do so now while we are still in session. We'll accept general comments for a few minutes as long as we don't stay here all night. Having said that, I would like to wish all those watching us at home, and probably some of you are dedicated followers of the zoning board. I thank you for watching us during the year, your interest in your community. And I certainly wish you and your families a very healthy and happy holidays and New Year. Do we have anyone calling in this thing?
I do not
This
see
is
any
Tom
raised hands.
Wesco from Morris Habitat. We'd just like to thank the board for your help with this situation and wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Thank you, and it's great work that you do, and continue to do so, please. We need it. All right, I'm going to close the general public portion, seeing as no one has any comments. Ms. Sawant, anything final from the township for the 2021 end of year?
Nope, I don't have anything else. We have scheduled the next meeting as a virtual meeting, the reorganization meeting, and I will soon be sending out an email to board members to see where we stand. I did speak to Mr. Sachs about it, whether we proceed with in-person meetings or we continue with virtual. I had spoken to the mayor and the business administrator. I spoke to Mr. Sachs, and I just wanted to discuss that further, probably at the reorganization meeting.
Okay. Does the planning board meet still on Zoom?
Yes, it is still on Zoom, and I'm following the same suit there too. The January meeting is going to be virtual, and then I'll reach out to board members and the board attorney to see what we should be doing next.
Thank you, Ms. Sawant. And Ms. C, thank you for coming on the township as assistant planner and all your help since Kim Silverman has taken retirement. So
My pleasure. Thank
we
you.
welcome you and thank you for everything that you do. Mr. Sachs, any final comments for the year?
No, nothing, Mr. Chairman. Just wish everybody a happy, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And, hopefully we somehow get back to normal next year. We'll see.
We will see.
It's been a long 2 years.
Thank you. Larry, thank you for your counsel throughout the year. As always, we work well together, I think, with you. And I know you feel the pulse of the board. And again, thank you for all your advice. We appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Chairman Sullivan, I just want to add one thing. It's almost 2.5 months since Natalie has taken over, and she has been phenomenal because you must have seen planning board has been very, very busy. And so I have been able to offer her very little training or support, but she has taken full charge. She's very independent, and it's a pleasure to have her. I'm sure you have seen her very meticulously reach out and follow up with emails, and the minute details with which on which she focuses is amazing. So Natalie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Vina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the township benefits that by that employment, and certainly we benefit as well. And I will tell you on the air, Ms. C, I will stop in and sign plans tomorrow if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I've been remiss because I took a week and went to Florida, so I'm sorry about that, but I will be in tomorrow. Board members, any comments before I'm going to call for adjournment? We'll go once around if anybody wants to say anything. Ms. Kilduff.
Yeah, I would like to thank Mr. Gill for reaching out to those people on Englishtown Road, that warehouse. They cleaned up the front of the building very nice. So thank you.
That's all we care about.
Thanks. Mr. Gill, anything from the township's end you want to say?
No, there's nothing interesting going on in the zoning off. No, I'm just kidding. Guys, thank you for everything you guys do. Happy Christmas and a Merry New Year. I like.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. Anybody else? If not, I'll tell you what, I'd like to wish each and every one of your families Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Please be safe during that time. Let's all meet back here again in January. I thank you for all the time and the effort that you put in. I know we all do this together because we like doing it, because there's no other reason we should be here. But thanks for participating in the civics of the township. So having said that, I'll call for an adjournment. Would someone like to move it? Nobody wants to.
Motion.
Okay, Ms. Kilduff wants to adjourn, and Mr. Dewhurst
Give me
is
a
here
minute.
to say second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Goodbye for 2021. We'll see you in 2022.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Aye.